Hello, all you beautiful beings. My name is Abigail Barella with Sparkle and Shine Guidance, and this is your full moon oracle for the Sagittarius full moon on June 5th, Friday, at 12:12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time in 15 degrees of Sagittarius. Okay, this is a huge... obviously, there's so much happening in our world right now, but regardless of that, like if we're just looking at the astrology, it's a huge time because it's the first time that we're having an eclipse cycle with the north and south node now changed signs. So the north node, our collective dharma, is now in Gemini. I have a whole video about that on my YouTube. Feel free to watch that. And the south node is now in Sagittarius. Now, since we're having our first partial eclipse, full moon eclipse, as a south node eclipse, that's saying that this is a big clear out time because the south node is our collective past, our history, and there's a lot. Ooh, I didn't bring any water. I want to talk about this. This is actually what I wanted to talk about, is speaking our truth during this time and really investigating and opening our minds to the truth of our history. It's very painful because within what we know about history, there's a lot that we don't know. There's a lot that is swept under the rug, and really the people that get to tell the history are the ones in power. That's always how it's been. Therefore, in our DNA, in the truth of the truth, in our bones and in our cells, we can feel when something doesn't feel right. However, our logical brains and our program brains are very quick to step in and tell us, oh, that's too far out there. All the collective programming that we've received since early in our lives is very loud, and our intuition is a little bit more quiet. It's a little bit more unobtrusive. But I just want to remind you that when we get to this full moon energy, which this whole week, because it's a partial eclipse, we are officially in eclipse season, and we have this full moon eclipse on Friday, June 5th. Then we have a total new moon eclipse in Cancer. And I'm not going to talk about that right now, but I just want to tell you that that's the new opportunity. That's the time where we're stepping in. But until then, we are clearing up shop. So whatever needs to get cleared out that is keeping you from the truth that we are all one human family, and if we're not looking out for each other, we're not going to survive. The other thing about the South Node in Sagittarius is false prophets, false leaders, false dogma and stigma around what is truth and what is not is all really getting kicked up to the surface. Sagittarius is also the sign of the politician, and I know for myself, in my own journey, I've really realized that our two-party system in the U.S. is what is tearing us apart. And there's so much more than just one man. It's always a man. One man in office. It's always so much more. And so it's really easy to pigeonhole the problem or to think that it's just one person when it's the whole damn system, right? And we are a younger country, and it's actually interesting if you look at Pluto and the history of our country. It was actually the last time that Pluto was making a similar transit that our country was established. And if you also look at like how our country was established, it was not a peaceful process. It was a painful process. And it wasn't that long ago. We are a newer country. So I just want to remind you all at this full moon to really just stay open to possibilities. Look at where 15 degrees of Sagittarius is in your own chart. And that is where there's going to be illumination and truths revealed, either about, because it's all connected, whatever's happening internally is also happening collectively. And it's really tempting to want to really look outside right now and really project a bunch of hate and mistrust, and it's so understandable. And at the same time, if we can really look within and look at the growth within that's happening and the inner truth that we need to tap into in our internal landscape, look to where 15 degrees of Sag is for you. Maybe it's in a more public house. That's going to tell you that you have a public role in what's happening. Maybe it's in a very intimate house, like your 4th house, where it's really about those roots and where you come from and getting to the truth of your own story and really pushing the boundary of what's real. This whole labeling of anything that's too hard for people to believe as a conspiracy theorist, that is what's dropping away. We all have truths. We all come from this lineage of pain and suffering. We all do. And within that, if we do not do that inner work of healing that, we just keep recreating that and projecting that. And so I would just invite you to do that deep inner work. And therefore, I have an amazing free webinar on Friday that I would like to invite all of you to. It's at 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Friday, June 5th. And if you feel called to be there, you're meant to be there. If what I'm saying to you doesn't resonate, you're not meant to be there. And so if you feel called to be there, please join us. We're going to do a meditation. We're going to just give some good information about how to really tap into your own inner ascension at this time where it feels very difficult to do. So this full moon, the sun is in Gemini. You can see like 2 sides, right? 2 sides of humanity, 2 sides of the story, 2 sides of everything. But we're really supposed to lean into our inner truth at this time. The other thing that's interesting is we have an exact square to Mars in Pisces, and I have another post on my Instagram if you want to read about Mars and Pisces, but it is a dreamy and deep consciousness process of bringing up things to the surface that is really uncomfortable, especially with Neptune there too. Really uncomfortable things, and at the same time it's a square, and so we really whatever's coming up we need to dive into. At the same time, we need to be cautious with our bodies moving through the world, driving a car. Whenever there's a square to Mars, I always invite you to use caution. Never drive when you're angry. Always deep breathing. If you're feeling feelings, let yourself feel those feelings, but do it in the privacy of your own home or out in nature. We also have Mercury will be going retrograde in Cancer. There's a lot of Cancerian energy that I want to talk about because this whole North Node for the last 18 months has been transversing through this Cancerian nurturing ourselves, mothering ourselves, and really tending to our foundations. And when we have Mercury that's going to be retrograding in Cancer before this lunar cycle ends, before we get to the new moon, a powerful eclipse on the 21st of June, Mercury is going to help us process and clear and really do that deeper emotional lifting of what we're trying to move forward into. If we can't tune into our own emotions and acknowledge and let them move through, emotion contains the word motion in it, someone else is going to be reaping those benefits of playing off our emotions. So I want to remind you to tap into your emotions. This is the time to do it. This is the time to do that deep work that you maybe have been too afraid to do. If you aren't called to step more into your purpose during this time, that's fear. Everyone is being called to step more into their purpose right now. So if you're feeling that fear, just reach out or join that webinar, or you can set up an appointment with me. But it is really an opportunity for us all to step up and in. I hope you have a beautiful day. Really hold that vision clear of what you want to feel in this world, what you want to experience with other humans, how you want our human family to evolve together. Have a beautiful day. Take care.